Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Now it is time to introduce our main speaker for tonight, is Sarge.
Sarge, alcoholic. There's a line at the men's room. So I went outside to relieve myself, and I thought I was alone, and there was Jeff Greenberg relieving himself. So he said to me, "You can't do this here, it's a church." I said, "I'm a fucking Jew. They've been peeing on us for 6,000 years. I'm also a black Jew, which means I shoplift, but just wholesale." Thank you. Let's get the jokes out of the way. I've been sober 7,196 1 days at a time. And as I sat here waiting for all the celebrating and all the psychodrama and everything, and Jane, I was thinking, God, I love my sobriety, I love my life, until this guy here took his cake, this pirate guy, whoever the hell he is. I've never wanted to be someone else so fucking badly in my life. If I was him, I'd fuck myself all day. I wouldn't need a girlfriend, I wouldn't need a sponsor. I would just get 7 mirrors and just get inside of me in a way that we can only talk about in a church basement with a bunch of people who've smoked tremendous amounts of crack and drank tremendous amounts of liquor and I don't even know what to talk about now, dude. I'm not gay, but I'm like into you. I don't know what the problem is. Maybe I am gay, I don't know. How much time do you have? I might just start over and hope, you know what I mean? No, I saw his girlfriend and I was like, man, she's hot. And then I saw him and I was like, holy shit. I was like, damn, holy shit. I wonder if they talk like, or it's just dolphin sounds, just, Anyway, wow. I'd like to thank Joey Feldman for inviting me here to be a part of this again. Joey Feldman, or as he's known in his historical circles as Rutherford B. Hayes. What are you going for with that whole Sikh turban-looking fucking fit? I don't know. Anyway, sobriety is about joy. Sobriety is about laughter. Sobriety is about sense of humor. Sobriety is about being able to look at myself and enjoy. But now that there's this dude, I am done forever. And he's looking at me going, if I'm ever having a hard time trying not to come, I'll think of the speaker from tonight. And our first speaker thought she was crazy. A lot of people talk about when they came, they talk about AAI. When I came around, I was 79 pounds. I was born 79 pounds. I have no sympathy for you. All of you emaciated, depressed people who just degenerated into skeletal remains. I've been fat. I'm pre-sonogram fat, I'm heavy, And I love me today, all of me. Every single friggin' paunchy little puckering roll of me. Why? Why do I love me today, and why is love so important, and why do I have to love myself the way you people teach me to love myself? I need to love myself because God loves me. God taught you to love me before I could love me. Each and every single person in this room started out as a star. We're winners. We were winners. Our sperm made it to the egg. Some of us, 17 or 18 sperm, made it to the egg. We were winners, And if you can remember back to when I was a kid, my parents used to tell everybody what I was going to be. Do you remember those days? He's going to be a lawyer. He's going to be a doctor. He's going to play pro football. And give me another Pop-Tart. It was like. Your parents didn't look at you when you were little and say, he's going to go to rehab 19 times, and he's going to masturbate and smoke crack and get arrested and try to kill himself. Nobody said that. Only my brain says that to me. I need to see myself more the way my father sees me and less the way I see me. And the only way I can do that is to pray my way out of it. Just to give you a quick update, I was born in 1961. I'm 49 years old, and I look damn good. Okay there, Mr. Pirate? Okay, Captain Feathersword? 1961 was not a good time to be anything other than white. I wasn't even black. I was beige. And my parents adopted me. I was raised by white Jewish people who were in denial about my ethnic background. They tried scrubbing me. They tried... if I had black parents, they would just say, I'm going to knock the black right off your head. Jewish parents are going, he's not black, I see blood. And they're rubbing and scrubbing. And where there is no love, there's only ego and ignorance. And in the early 60s, there was nothing but ego and ignorance and stupidity about our differences, And I was raised with a double whammy. I mean, I'm black and Jewish, which means I hate myself, as much as I could. It was like, but I was adopted at birth. I mean, I was born to a white Jewish woman from Chicago, Orthodox Jew. Boy, there's a whole thing there, huh? Orthodox Jewish people. I did a gig for the Orthodox. The Orthodox, very Jewish people. They wear the whole Amish and mourning get up with the things and the fur hats and the whole thing, and the women sit on one side and the men sit on the other, right? And they wear wigs and they long sleeves. It's like 107 degrees in July, and they're all like bundled up like there's going to be an Armageddon of ice and shit, and. So this rabbi came to me before this gig, and he said to me, do me a favor. He says, listen, he says, this is a very sacred gig. He says, don't talk about TV, don't talk about sex, don't talk about, it was like Jackie Mason, don't talk about religion, don't talk about this, don't talk about that, don't talk about shoes, don't talk about, gay people, don't talk about masturbate, don't vaginas, nothing, don't even talk, and most of all, don't look at the women. I said, I saw some of them in the lobby, you don't have to worry. I'm not looking. I was raised, by a family who adopted me at birth, and they didn't know that I was multiracial because my mother didn't tell anybody. So my life started with a lie. And that's basically it. I had no idea who I was. I was born, and my parents said, oh, wow, yeah, whew, okay. Wow, he's darker than he's overdone. I think. But I was a winner. I was a winner. I was 5 years old. I could play the piano without lessons. I could read. I had talent, even at 5. But I grew up in a family where feelings aren't allowed, where we don't discuss things. It's just shouting, and it's 4-letter words, and it's screaming and throwing and fighting and arguing. And I learned to, closet eat. That was my first drug: ho-hos, devil dogs, Twinkies, ring dings, fruit pies, all that, anything with a duck on the wrapper. And I was gonna, my mother used to say this in front of me when I was 6, some parents have a difficult time getting their children to eat. I can't get mine to fucking chew. He's just, and so, I was inhaling anything that would just make me feel differently than I felt. I am one of the people who has a disease of more of everything. I can't just eat one piece of gum. I eat the whole pack. I love large quantities of brand new socks. I don't know what that is. I buy backups of everything, almost like, I'm waiting for like a tsunami. I have like, bales of paper towel and, 6 things of laundry detergent. I don't smoke crack anymore or drink or do drugs or anything, but I go to Costco and just leave with like, like a semi-truck of shit to go to my house. I go there for like, salmon steaks and I leave with like $7,000 worth of shit, And I need more. I need more. I need more joy. I need more gum. I need more glue. I need more socks. I need, I need more of everything. Everything, not just drugs and alcohol, because I don't do drugs and alcohol anymore. I may say I'm a drug addict, I'm an alcoholic, but that's not my problem. My problem is not those substances. I stopped using them. When I got clean and sober in 1990, and I was one of the people that got sober over Christmas. Thank you very much. Jews, it doesn't matter when, if you're Jewish and you get sober, all Jewish holidays, this most recent one, it's like Happy New Year. It's like, there's no happy, joyous occasions for, Judaism. It's all just, we were slaves, eat sand. It's like, okay. So it's hardwired into you to be a miserable fuck if you're Jewish. We see the fault in everything, and that. It's such a lovely day. You should have been here Tuesday. It's like, so there's no joy there. There's no joy. I went to private schools. I went to Juilliard. I had all these advantages. I went to all boys Episcopalian prep school in Connecticut. Connecticut, great place for a black Jew. Hitler went to summer camp in Connecticut. That's where I went to school. And I was around all these people with like 9 names, they were all like, you couldn't even understand what they were saying. They were like deaf mute people like, hi, my name is Pembroke Van Jim Barriston. The people that just like Jim Backus from like that show with the dun 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 dun, that whatever that was called. I'm 49, my brain is cracked. But yeah, everyone was like, I was the only black and the only Jew at this school. Think about that. I was a quota. I was a human quota. And my parents thought it would help me to become more well-rounded. It just learned me how to comb, spit out of my hair. It was a very rough time for me. I didn't use or anything at that point. I was in prep school, and I was going to be a star because I was going to go to college and blah, 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 blah. And where I'm from New York, oh, thanks for joining us. Fantastic. Could you go back out and find less short? Anyway. Wow. Were they like waiting to come in? Like, when should we go in? Right in the middle of the speaker. Hurry up. Shorts were like not even, it was like her vagina was like. Anyway. Look, I have no shot, so you know what I mean? I hope they're not new. They're not? Good. But the bottom line was, I mean, I have a history. I could do the drunkalog, and I could tell you all this awful stuff that happened. Everybody here almost died. We all almost died. If you ever go out with a bunch of drug addicts and alcoholics, you can go around the table. Oh no, they revived me on the table. I had 8 bullets in my head and a knife in my eye, and I got run over by a tractor, and I died 7 times on the way to the hospital. Everybody's got their dying stories, and the truth of the matter is, we just won't die. That's the point. I mean, we've all tried it. It didn't work. We all tried to die, and everyone's got a better story than the next guy. Oh no, they buried me, and then I popped up at the thing, and it was unbelievable. And then you hear about people that die, like, I was smoking $300 worth of crack a day, an entire, the handle of Maker's Mark, the one with a handle. There's so much whiskey that it's got like a built-in handle to the bottle. And I was doing all that, and I'm here, look at me. I'm flourishing. I'm magnetic. I'm amazing. I'm still, and you hear about people like, what happened to Larry? Oh, too many salty foods. Like, who dies from salty food? Oh, he had an aneurysm. It was terrible. He was eating a lot of taffy. He was eating taffy. And the sugar caused a whole... I'm smoking anything that I can stick in the end of a glass rod, right? And by the way, for me, just so you know, and you're probably not shocked, nudity and using were together for me, no matter where I was. I'll give you one quick drunkalog. I was arrested on the front steps of the Plaza Hotel, nude in the winter, singing show tunes to the doormen. He's a little reality show waiting to happen. But I really used to just get high and get nude. And I wasn't just a crackhead. I used to smoke PCP with the crack because the crack wasn't fast enough. And then I would take the edge off with the booze and stuff. And the funny thing was, when I finally did get to a rehab center, it was largely because God was loving me before I could love myself. It was you people already here who loved me when I got here. But there was actually God in my life, because I believe that within every one of us, God is in us. People talk about God being up there, over there. God is in that tree. God is within each and every one of us living creatures. And the reason I know that is because we were saved. And the reason I know we were saved is because we're here. And if we're here, we were saved. And if we're here to be saved, we're here to save. That's the only thing I'm here for. I'm not here, I'm here because God sent me, because I have a great sense of humor and I'm able to share the gift of laughter. That's not me, that comes from God. It's not me, it comes from God. God gives me the energy and the power and the joy to check in with you and bring the gift that I have. Jane was up here and she brought her gift. The people that spoke for their birthdays, they have their gift. My gift is nothing but being able to see the world in a way that makes me laugh and makes other people laugh. And that's the bottom line, because when you look like me, you have to laugh. And I'm serious, I have freckles, I have Velcro hair. I mean, I was never thin. I was always slow. I was, so you have to have a sense of humor if you're me. And so here I am, after, thousands of pounds of smokables and drinkables and all that other stuff. I'd rather talk about what it's like now, and what happened. What happened was I had one friend left in the world. Just one friend left, and I was using his loft apartment occasionally because my using took me to homelessness on the streets of New York. Once again, I had an overcoat, so I was nude under an overcoat, basically. I had a Mets hat and a pair of sunglasses I found in the trash. And I would use my friend's house, and I would systematically remove his jewelry from his home every single time I would stay at his house. And it came to Christmas, where all the misfits get sober. And my friend Todd was looking for his watches and his rings and his cufflinks. Cufflinks, right? He has cufflinks. And I'd sold them all. And I was helping him look for them. They say a thief will steal from you, but a dope fiend will help you look for the shit with you. And I'm a dope fiend. And I was helping him look for the stuff. And what ended up happening was I had a moment of truth where I actually told him that I had sold it all to, down on 47th Street to the Jewish guys, the jewelry district. And his first response was godlike, because my response would not have been, let's get you some help then. Let's get you some help. Let's get you to some help. And the next day I was in a treatment center in Delray Beach, Florida. I arrived on the steps of the treatment center. A gigantic man met me at the door. I came at about 11 o'clock at night. He opened the door. He said, "You must be the new arrival." And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Wow, you really stink." And I said, "Thank you." It's taken me 9 months to get this way. True story, no embellishment. He said, how many drinks did you have on the plane? I said, 11. He said, are you an alcoholic? I said, oh, no, I'm a crack addict. I just drink to take the edge off. I said, 11 drinks. He says, well, you're right. You're not an alcoholic. An alcoholic would have had 12. You're 1 drink shy. So let's get to work on the crack then. He admitted me and told me to go in the other room and to hit my knees and ask God to remove the obsession to drink and drug from my life. Remove the obsession. Hit your knees, he said. You have to hit your knees for this to work. So I went in the other room. Please remove the obsession. Please remove the obsession. And the next day I woke up and I had no desire to drink or drug, which proved to me that God doesn't care how I pray. You hear a lot of people say, oh, you got to hit your knees, you got to do this, you got to... You know what? Many mornings I wake up in the morning, and if you're new, how many people here forget to pray sometimes? You forget to pray. You just get into it's 1 o'clock, things are going the way they're going, and you forgot to pray. What I've learned to do is I pray before I pray. I make sure I pray before I pray. I pray when I wake up. When my eyes open, I hit the prayer. I hit it right off the top, and I say, God, what can I do for you? I'm a waiter in a cafe, and God is at every table. What can I do for you, God? What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? Who would you have me talk to? And what would you have me say? And then I'm covered. Anyway, I prayed, and I didn't feel like using that day, and that was my first day clean and sober. And the next day, they brought a doctor in from Miami to look me over. And he was a Colombian doctor, which I thought was odd for a cocaine addict. And he was one of these old-fashioned doctors. He had that disc on his head with the leather strap and a flashlight. Wasn't a very high-end treatment center, I'll have you know. And he looked at me. I was 365 pounds at the time. And he looked at me and he said, in Spanish, English, Spanglish, he said, you are the fattest crack addict we have ever had in this place. And he said, most of these people, they come here, we have to get them to eat. You, we have to get to sew your mouth closed, because some people say don't quit before the miracle happens. This guy was like, don't explode before the miracle happens. There will be a miracle, but I'm very concerned about you because... You know, and I got out of there, and I lived in a halfway house, and I lived in a sober living house, and you know, blah 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 blah, and it was unbelievable. My life was completely different. You know, I had 3 careers in my 20s. I won't bore you with them. You know, I worked in the modeling business as an agent when I first got out of college, the 3rd college that I'd failed out of, by the way. I then worked in the network television business in sports, traveling around the world, you know, working for the networks and the Olympic units and sports and things like that as an associate producer. And then, you know, right before I got to treatment, I'd been on my 4th network, and finally I got there and I got well, and it was all new for me. And somebody in recovery at a meeting told me that I had a gift. The gift was to find laughter and to share laughter and to create laughter, and that I should be a comedian. And I had nothing to lose because I had already lost everything, which I believe is the key to my whole life. And I prayed on the beach one day in Delray, and my grandfather came to me in that prayer. And my grandfather was the one guy that really, really got me, loved me unconditionally, the way you people do. And he took me to shows when I was a kid. I forgot about that. I blocked it out. Everything after 6, I blocked out. I don't have any pictures of myself from 11 to 29 because of shame. I was too ashamed to be in a picture. I see a lot of you in here, and you're all running around going, where are the cameras? You know, not me. I was like, let me take the picture because I don't want to be in the picture. Shame. Shame. Just ashamed of the way I looked, ashamed of who I was, ashamed of who I'd become. And then I got here, and you people taught me every single day how to be useful. And what do I know today? And this is the part where I love to share, because this is the part that lifts up the newcomers, lifts up the people that just came back, lifts up the people that keep coming back. I was terrified. That was the bottom line. Scared, fear. What I've learned from my sponsor, who's got 40 years, is that fear is a sure sign that I'm relying on the wrong power. Terrified. I triumph over the fear by working with others. I triumph over the fear by listening to podcasts. I triumph over the fear by reading the big book. I triumph over the fear by doing the steps. We have a 7-step workshop on Monday nights. We have a 6-step workshop on Tuesday nights. Wednesday night I meet with all of my sponsees. I have an incredible life because of this program. If you're sitting here and you're new and you don't understand what people are talking about when they say, you got to do the work, you hear a lot of people go, yeah, you got to do that. I did the work. You got to do the work. The work. There's lots of work you got to do. I finally got to do the fucking work, you know. Yeah, it took me 23 years to get 1 year. Got to do the work. I did the work. I finally did the work. Finally got out of my own way. Got out of my own way. Did the work. I'm doing the work. On the work. You just, I did the work. You know, the answer is in them there steps. And the traditions. And the tradition. Well, fuck the tradition. There's the steps. It's in the steps. It's down the work. Got to do the work. Work. You know, give me some chore boy and a butane lighter with the work. Just want to get away from the work. Don't do this, don't touch that, don't fuck her, she's new, don't do this, don't go over there, read this book, don't read that book. He's emotionally unavailable, don't talk to him, he's a loser, he's a chronic relapser, he's a piece of shit, he's an idiot. Judge, critic, judge. Oh my God, don't go there. That's a shitty treatment center. That's a good one. Go to that halfway house. Meet them. Go to a panel. Drive somebody. Pick them up. Get them a job. Help another person. Here, grab a mop. I cleaned out ashtrays. I empty trash. I only eat candy on Tuesdays. I quit glutens. I shaved my head. I tried not shaving my head. I drank Merlot. I'm back. You know, one thing you got to know, let God love you. Get out of the way. If you're here, God loves you. He has a use for you. He has a need for you. There's many of us that need to meet many of us. In this room, we need to meet us. That's why we're here. We're not here to get jobs. We're not here to get laid, although some of us are doing quite well in that area. Those of us who can't get laid, do the work. We do the work. We work. We keep working. Let the laughter in. Let the joy in. You're laughing on the truth. If I'm judging you, I'm judging me. I learned this. If I'm criticizing you, I'm criticizing me. If I call you an asshole, I'm an asshole. If I don't forgive you, I don't forgive me. If I don't love you, I don't love me. Even though this is not all about me, it really is all about me. It's the inside job. It's what do I need to do to change? Because when you get here, they say you got to change everything. Yeah, you got to change everything. Every cell, every hair, every shoelace, every article of clothing, everything inside of you, every molecule of cell, everything's got to change. And the only way I've found that I can actually do that is to consult the man that runs the planets and the oceans and makes plants and puppies and babies and divorce lawyers, and, you know, I tried relying on my own strength for many years, which is why I was on a treadmill to absolutely nowhere. And now that I've turned my life over to the most awesome power that's available to us for free, everything goes swimmingly as long as I stay out of the way and let him work through me and let him give me what I need in order to do the only thing I was saved by you people to do, which is to help another person in here. That's the only reason I come here. Because I was saved and I want to help another person. And each person in here has a unique experience with the steps, which enables them to relate to the different people and the different lives and the different ways that we come and go out and come back and go out and come back. I don't have the experience of going out and coming back. I prayed once, I stayed in once, thank God for me. I'm no better or worse than anybody else. It's all the journey, and if you're here, you're supposed to be here, and it doesn't matter if you've been out 90 times, 9 times, no times, 1 time. If you're going to go out next week, please come back, please come back, please come back. We're very, very special, sensitive, intelligent people. Sensitivity and intelligence together is the conflict. It's the extreme. It's unbelievable. We feel everything. We think everything. We see everything. We say everything. We do everything. We just can't wait. I was sitting in the chair over there, and I just couldn't wait to get here because I have so much to share tonight. And it has nothing to do. It's just a conglomeration of everything I've ever heard from people that were doing this the right way. My sponsor took me through the steps in exactly 5 minutes in the first 3. He said to me, do you ever keep drinking knowing that there's going to be consequences? I said, yeah. He said, you get high knowing there's going to be consequences? I said, yeah, I'm going to be naked someplace in Manhattan, with people vomiting everywhere, just going, look at him, He said, do you believe that there's a power greater than yourself out there someplace that's running everything? I said, of course. That was step 2. And finally he said, just copy us. Will you copy us? I said, yeah. He said, you just took step 3, let's work on step 4. And we got to step 4. And I only told him one thing in step 5 that was absolutely unbelievable because I was too ashamed to tell him the other things in my 5th step. And the 6th and 7th about shortcomings and character defects. I mean, I'm loaded with them. It's like whack-a-mole. Every time I think I have one of them down, another one pops up over here, I mean, okay, I'm not sitting across the street from any middle schools with binoculars, okay? I'm not talking about that. But I've got character defects. I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you. Oh, I hate him. Oh, I love him, I hate him. I can't stand him. I hate you. I hate you. I really do hate you. I hate you. You love me. Yeah, wait a few years. The 7th step is my miracle step. Please, God, remove every single defective character which diminishes my usefulness to you. Because I finally got it. The light came on. It's about being useful to God, not being useful to me. The more I want the things I want, the more I prayed for the things I wanted, all I got was more want. I never got the things. I prayed for things I wanted. I prayed for God to take my problems away. And my problems were still there because I was praying for the wrong thing. I finally learned I need to pray for God to take away the character defects which caused the problems. I can't pray to not resent him. They used to say, oh, hit your knees for a couple of weeks. You won't resent him anymore. He'll take it away. No, I hate him even more because I have to pray for somebody I hate. The character defect is arrogance. The character defect is ego. My ego wants me dead. The ego needs to be crushed. The ego needs to be removed. The ego in my speech, the ego in my mind, the ego that's made me a first thought wrong person. I always have the first thought wrong. Every single time I do anything, it doesn't matter how long I'm here, I have the first thought wrong. Every single time. That's why I have to pray. Because I'm a first thought wrong person. I'm a sick bitch. I need to pray. I'm jealous of you, I'm envious of you, I'm angry at you, I'm resentful of you. Why? Because I don't think anything of myself. I have to pray for the character defect to be removed in order for the problem to go away. And when I address the character defect and I get specific, the character defect is diminished and the problems seem to kind of disappear. I love every single person in this room except for Malik right now. I totally love Malik. Oh my God. The 8th step, making a list. My sponsor told me to make a list. I had a sponsor who was a bank robber. Think about this. He had one eye that was good and the other eye wasn't good. And I didn't know which one was good. And he used to do this. Look into my eyes. And I go, I don't know which fucking eye. Which eye? This eye. He was a retired bank robber who ended up being a therapist in the prison system. He used to rob armored cars. How cool is that? My sponsor robbed armored cars. And he used to tell me that everything is a lesson. Everything, every person, every situation. Every place I go, every thought I have is a lesson because it's an opportunity for me to learn what I need to do to get off it about that. Everything is a lesson. Everybody is a lesson. Thank God for this program and these steps, for giving us a guideline through which to take all of the lessons that we encounter on a daily basis and address them with spiritual moral principles that raise us to a higher level than we could have ever imagined, considering the way I was spending my time on the leather sofa, nude, with one stem in this hand and the other stem in this one. Unbelievable. I don't even know why I had a porn collection. I only watched 13 seconds of each video. Step 8, make a list. So I made a list. He said, now write a paragraph on each one. I said, it says make a list. Read the fucking sign with your good eye. He said, I hope you're wearing comfortable shoes because you're going sponsor shopping. What do you mean? He says, we're done. I said, no, we're not. Oh, yes, we are. Or write a paragraph on each one. So I wrote a paragraph on each one. Willingness. Willingness. If I'm willing, anything is possible. And so I wrote the paragraphs. And I got to step 9. And I made amends. And there were people I couldn't make amends to. And I stole, begged, borrowed everything. I mean, I ripped everything off I could. I mean, I'm a Jewish thief. I didn't do any major jobs. Just, soft targets, like grandmothers, Whole sets of sterling silver from the 20s, Other people rip off expensive, cool shit. I was like stealing, like that red blow-up circle that people sit on for hemorrhoids, Oh, come on, you can give me something for this, I mean, a fat crack addict, they would just pay me to make me go away. It's like, dude, you're sweating on the counter. Get lost. Step 9. I still put money in the change cup on the counter at 7-Eleven or any place I go to make amends for all of those places where I stole and couldn't find the people to make the financial amends. Every single time I get change, it goes in that bucket because I'm paying back the universe. Step 10, promptly admit when I'm wrong. I'm getting better at that one. As long as I remember who I am and that I come here and that I've got steps to take care of me and that God loves me and you love me and I can call somebody about it, I can promptly admit and do my 10-step inventory each and every day. Prayer and meditation. I sometimes have a difficult time with the getting quiet part. You're shocked. The prayer part I love and the getting quiet part is growing. If you're having a hard time getting quiet, just start by counting backwards from 100. And if you open your eyes, you have to start over again. That's what my sponsor told me, and that's what I did. And now I can go to 115. Step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, I carry the message and practice these principles in all my affairs. This is where my life has changed. I'm a comedian. I'm not a very successful one. I'm very funny, but I don't have the big gigs. I don't have the billboards on Sunset. I don't have a show. I don't get to go on Leno. I travel the world anonymously as one of us because I've put my recovery first. I've been in Iraq at the war numerous times. I've entertained the troops. I did what you told me to do. And that's where you learn to pray, when you're in a Black Hawk helicopter on your way to a comedy gig of people who are armed to the teeth. You meet a lot of Southern guys. Not so funny now there, Jewish nigga, are you? Whoa. Dude. Put down the Slurpee and give Black Jew a hug. I'll tell you why I'm not so successful in professional terms, but I'm hugely successful in life terms. I'll tell you why. I had an idol in the comedy business growing up because all people who want to be athletes or entertainers have an idol. And my idol was a guy named Alan King. He was an old Jew with a cigar that used to be on Johnny Carson every 4 minutes. And I used to stand outside the bagel store where he got his bagels every Sunday, and I'd wait for him to come out with his change. And I'd run home and tell my mother that Alan King gave me his change. Many of you don't know who Alan King was. Alan King was Judy Garland's opening act for 20 years. Alan King made more Johnny Carson appearances than anybody on earth. Alan King was the precursor to Bill Cosby. Alan King was a legend. And I was backstage with Alan King one of the last weekends of his show life because I was performing Friday night headlining and he was performing Saturday night. And I knew him in his old age and we got to be a little bit chummy and I was backstage with him pouring glass after glass after glass of Tanqueray because he found out he was dying of cancer and his alcoholism was even more pronounced. And as I'm pouring the Tanqueray, I said, do you regret anything? And he says, I regret the fact that I was a shitty husband, I was an awful father, and I wasn't much of a son. I was so busy being Alan King, I forgot to be all those other things, and you never get a second chance to do that. He says, Sarge, my boy, if I have something to tell you, don't worry about being Sarge. Be a son. Be a father. be a husband, be a sponsor, be a member of your community, be American, be a good man, because that's what counts. When you're on God's payroll, he never misses a payroll. And I took that to heart. And so every decision I've made since I heard that was putting family first, life first, my son, my little baby 2-year-old son, Xander, first, my wife, Anya, first, my elderly parents first, my sponsees first, and me somewhere around 5th or 6th. I'll tell you a quick story and then I'll get out of here because they're doing all this. Like anyone has any fucking place to be. It's Friday. You know, if you're not over on Rodeo parading around, you know, whatever they're doing, there's a Ferris wheel on fucking Rodeo Drive. Think about this. A Ferris wheel of people in fashion clothes. Anyway. Fabulous. Come on, let's go on the Ferris wheel. There's a good brother of ours in sobriety who lost his father when he was about 24 years old. His father was shot in the head in the lobby of a hotel because a man owed his father money and the man didn't want to pay him back. So, you know, as they do in Brooklyn, he got rid of the fucking problem. And it affected my friend deeply, and the man got life with the possibility of parole. And every 3 years, my friend had to go back to appear on behalf of the family to make sure the man didn't get out of prison. And it would tear him up inside because he's got a lot of years sober, like some of us in this room. And spiritually, it was just a mess for him. Every 3 years, he'd start to get antsy. And he was on a flight coming back from Canada one day, and he was in the plane, and the plane began to back away from the jetway, and they moved the jetway back, and the plane was about to go to the runway, and they closed the doors and, you know, shut off your phones and, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden, the plane was going back to the jetway, and he was like, oh, no, oh, God. And then the door opened up, and then the jetway came over, and a bunch of men in shrouds and, you know, funny-looking outfits came into the plane, and the last guy through the door was the Dalai Lama. And the Dalai Lama sat down. You know, there was 2 rows in first class, and with his entourage of 4 men, they sat, and my friend looked over the rows, and he was like, holy shit, it's the Dalai Lama. Oh my God! Oh my God! Are we gonna? Oh my God! And then he thought, oh my God, I have a spiritual dilemma. Maybe I can get a note to him. So he took out one of those beverage napkins and started to write it, and then it bled all the way through, you know, and the ink was going everywhere, and it just looked like a mess. So he took an air sickness bag. And on the back of the air sickness bag, or the front, doesn't matter, he wrote the story I just told you about his dad dying and having to appear on behalf of his family and all this other stuff. And he told the whole story, and he gave it to one of the members of the entourage. And 5 minutes later, the guy came over, and he says, the Dalai Lama will see you now. And the man said, can I sit in your seat and you can sit where I was sitting? And so he exchanged places with the man. And he's one of us, of course, and a former comedian. And he came to the row and he leaned over and Dalai Lama put his hand out and he couldn't resist. He said, hello, Dalai. And the Dalai Lama actually said this. Yeah, I've never heard that one. The most spiritual man on earth showed my friend's sense of humor right off the top. And then he told him to sit down. He was going to tell him a story. And they sat for 3 hours from Vancouver to Los Angeles. And they spoke until it was time to land. And it was amazing. And I'm on La Brea trying to make that left on Sunset in front of the high school there for an hour and a half. Listening to this story, and I'm about to make the turn, and I gun it, and I make the left, and I'm on Sunset now, and he finishes telling me the story, and I said, well, what did he tell you? What did he tell you? To get to the point? And he said, well, he told me that as long as I continued to be part of keeping this man in prison, that I was going to be in prison, and that the only way that I'd ever be able to get out of that emotional, spiritual, moral prison was to remove myself from the process and forgive the man for killing my father. That was my only hope. Love the man, and I would get to know the man, and forgive the man, and I'd be free. And I couldn't breathe. I literally pulled over. I said, oh my God. And there was a long pause, and he said, what do you think I should do? I said, I'm sorry? What do I think? Are you fucking kidding me? You just spent 3 hours with His Eminence, His Excellency, you know. You just talked to the fucking Dalai Lama. You're asking me what I think you should do? He says, well, I know you. I don't know him. He could have been an extra or a lookalike or something. I don't know. The point there, sense of humor, forgive, and the most important one, we know us. He spoke to the Dalai Lama for 3 hours and he wanted to know what I thought. We know us. We're the only ones that do. We're the only ones that can save us. And the reason we were saved is to do just that. Have a sense of humor. Forgive everybody, including yourself, and get to know us. The us that we are supposed to be, not the us we're trying to be, not the us we think we are, not the us that we hope that you think we are. The us that we're supposed to be is the us that saves us every single night when we sit together, shoulder to shoulder, just like this. I love you. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel and let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. And if that shows up, the gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.